guys. So if you didn't know, my last account got purged. So I thought, what better way to open this up with something positive? Before I get into it, I want to let everyone know if you do drink and you drink socially and responsibly, don't take it to heart. If it don't apply to you, it don't apply to you. But these are my reasons and mine alone. You might have different reasons, right? So this is not an attempt for me to knock on people that do drink, all right? Because I guarantee someone's gonna get a wedgie over hearing this shit. Always happens, and that's okay. We'll get through it together. So the very first reason that I have, and this isn't in sequential order or ascending or descending by what's most important and what's not. Like, this is just this is me just shooting shit from the hip. All right. So the first thing is I don't get in trouble anymore. That's an obvious one. Uh, with me, if I wasn't going to jail that year, that was a good year. I think on average I was going to jail maybe if it wasn't once, it was twice. And if I was really being a bad boy, it'd be three times. And as you know, jail sucks, right? Um, I gotta watch out for Big Mike in the showers. Also noticed that the more I would go to jail, the more the more severe the charges were. Like, the charges were still the same, but the more severe the consequences of those charges. I can't tell you how many fucking 90-day A meetings mandatory they made me go to, and outpatient. And I've been to outpatient and inpatient probably, outpatient probably about four times, inpatient two. And I can go into this and say, well, how come I didn't get it the first time or whatever? It's because I'm an alcoholic. You know, come on. My shit might work for you, it doesn't work for me. And, we're going to get into this much later, but right now I want to focus on trouble. So, you know, cops pulling me over, I got an open container and shit, like trying to put in my chewing tobacco in it and ashing out my cigarettes in it, just wasting the thing of beer so I can tell the officer, yeah, it's just my cigarette outlet. It's just my ashtray. Well, how come you got a six case or six pack, five of those? So why'd you pick that out of all? You're telling me you didn't drink? Okay, or hiding, trying to hide my breath, and alcohol would take me on a lot of crazy escapades in my heyday. You know, I've done a lot, and so much in fact that we're gonna move on because I could spend all day talking about all the shit that I've done. But just know that I got a rap sheet that's so long that when you fill those applications out at jobs, or maybe in an interview, they'll ask you even, do you have any, were you ever convicted of a felony, or of any charge? My shit's so long, and it spreads over a long time since I was, you know, it's over 15 years or so. Just random bullshit that I forgot most of them. You know, I forgot. A lot of them were just petty, dumb shit like public intox, disorderly conduct. Of course, he hit me with the resisting arrest. A fun one was decent exposure. That was fun. And ironically, or I shouldn't say ironically, but it was funny because my lawyer at the time, uh, he was really worried about that charge, and I was facing like a felony DUI at the same time. He was like, "Yeah, I'm a lawyer, and you're not a real lawyer until you get 2 or 3 DUIs. So, but we need to take care of this indecent exposure." And he was like, "What happened?" My lawyer was able to get that dropped. Nobody was hurt in the making of that arrest, but just little silly things. So the next one, well, 2 and 3. 2 is going to be perspective, and 3 is going to be philosophy, and they both tie in so strongly together. Just so, they intertwine so radically together that it'd be hard not to mention them both at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do. But going back to 1, my last DUI, it's in 2019, and that's when I said fuck this shit. All right, don't ask me what was going through my head or why it had to be my third one. And again, I can go into more detail later in a different video. But that was my last. That I was done. Um, the longer I was sober, and not to say I didn't have any hiccups, but every time I would relapse, the longer my sobriety would be until I was, uh, till the next relapse, until eventually I no relapse. And so during this arduous journey to sobriety, my perspective on a lot of things changed in my life. Perspective on how I used to deal with problems and happiness and joy and all that stuff. Perspective on the world, really, because alcohol is socially accepted, unless you're in a Muslim country, Saudi Arabia or something. You know, Generally, I mean, everyone, there's a ban on something, it's not going to be on alcohol. You know, and so I started asking myself, why is that? And that leads into philosophy. But why? Why? And I asked that because essentially alcohol is a poison. You know, Speaking from science, it is a poison. And, people don't like to hear that, but it is. You know, Me with this chaw in my mouth is poison, you know. But, I can tell you the difference here. I never got arrested for having, chew in my mouth or smoking a cigarette, but I've gotten arrested plenty of times for, you know, drinking and walking down the street or DUI or I just didn't like the way that guy was staring at me, so I threw a taco at that motherfucker. You know? But why? Why is the most socially accepted drink, substance, that's what it is, also the same thing that leads to, I think it's like the third, like, leading, of preventable deaths in the United States? Drinking and driving, alcohol incidents. We had a girl, when I was in college, we had a girl get pretty much trampled on. She was fucked up. And people thought she was passed out, but she was really not breathing. No one noticed that she was out of it because everyone else is fucked up. All this rape and shit. I mean, when I was in fucking college, I mean, My phone would always blow up talking about some stupid shit like so and so got raped. And it'd always be around 2 o'clock in the morning or something. And it's just like, dude, easy to be put in these situations whenever your judgment is impaired. You know, I mean, I fucked people that I regretted fucking. I mean, haven't we all? Woke up and said, wow, why did I do that? She didn't have any teeth. But it was fun while it lasted, I guess. So why? And think about it this way, or at least this is how I thought about it. I'm working hard, I'm busting my ass off 5 days a week, and to reward myself on my days off, I'm gonna punish my liver, I'm gonna kill off my brain cells, and I'm gonna potentially wake up with a hangover that's gonna make me wish I was fucking dead. All in the name of fun? I don't understand that. I don't know why I didn't see it earlier, but it just doesn't make sense. And so now I think about the social construct of the acceptance of alcohol. A social construct made by a man or a woman or both to make money, to sell poison, and convince everyone that because it's all on the billboards, it's on the movies, it's in the songs, it's where the party at, you know, to profit off of something that we know there's gonna be a motherfucker that's probably gonna drink and drive and kill himself. But we say that's a tragedy. But if someone overdoses on heroin, we say, you should have laid off the drugs, should have laid off the smack, motherfucker. But I don't understand it. Because if I were to talk about crack and meth, motherfuckers be walking out of the room. Because there's a bad stigma attached to it. There's no commercials talking, with a guy with a crack pipe saying, ooh, I never felt so alive, and I don't know what I would do without this crack. I mean, now I'm really making money, with all his crack friends. And no, there's not, because it's illegal. And it has a bad stigma attached to it. So just know that what we've done with alcohol, if we wanted to, we could do that to any drug. And we have. Prescription drugs. How many drugs do you see on, commercials and stuff? We're making this shit. And then they list all the bad side effects, the what is that thing that help you quit smoking? The commercials are great. And I'm glad the guy quit smoking, or girl. But then at the end, they list all this fucking shit. Oh, this could cause high blood pressure. This could kill you. This could make your dick limp. What the fuck? And speaking of which, I used to smoke cigarettes. And next year, I'm quitting this. But out of all the times I tried to quit, I always failed because when I drank, I really, drinking and smoking cigarettes with me just go hand in hand. And so if I cut off one, I knew it was going to be easier to tackle the other. And in my case, I had to let go of alcohol. I just had to. Um, and then it was so much easier to quit cigarettes. And like I said, quitting this next year because it's about fucking time. You think I wanna? You think I wanna chew? And so the fourth reason is time. Despite what many might think. I am social. I can be social. I mean, that's just the way the world is. You know, you got to know how to socialize with people and network and have a good demeanor and stuff. There's a certain way to talk to people and a certain way not to talk to people. But uh, by nature, in my personal life, my circle's really tight. I can probably got three friends that I consider like my friends. You know, because the more people that you got in your life that are friends, the more your time's going to be allocated to them. And I don't know about you, but I got a lot of shit I want to do. I like to write. I like to make music. I like to program or learn new things or read, whatever. There's a lot of time that uh, there's a lot of things that I value my time, especially as a father. And with that being said, I can't tell you how many times that alcohol has interfered with my plans with my time. For an example, maybe I want to, you know, uh, no pressure or anything, but I want to, you know, practice, back end APIs and on a web application I'm trying to make. For my GitHub profile, so I can display that to employers or whatever. And after going out with my buddies, coming home around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, it's the last fucking thing I want to do. I'm gonna watch Netflix and probably can't even do that. I used to watch anime, but because I like anime subbed and not dubbed, I couldn't read. The lines would be blurry, so I get all pissed off about it. But I'd rather sit there and try to read that sub than do what I initially intended to do anyway. And then leading to the next day, I'm still trying to recover a little bit. Maybe I was supposed to go to the park with someone and then I just overslept, and the next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock. And this would continue to happen, and I just got tired of it. Next is health. Um, this one is probably a no brainer, but you know, quit drinking, health benefits happen. Okay. Uh, I forget how they measure like your scar tissue in your liver. I forget what some type of liver enzyme or something. Uh, but that quantity count determines or it's an indicator to doctors. I mean, if you got something going on, I think that's what it is, some type of enzyme. But anyway, my count was really high, and so the doctor thought I was damn near about to have on the verge of getting acute hepatitis. And then when I stopped drinking, I see him a year later. The count goes down. A year after that, the count's even down to he's not even worried about it anymore. He was like, "Damn, man, I don't know how much you were drinking back then, but that seems to be the culprit." And it's not just physically; it's mentally too. I feel my mind is a lot more clear. Uh, my judgment, of course, is a lot better. Uh, so yeah, some benefits there. My skin, I don't know if you knew this. When you drink, it dries out your skin. So people that are heavy drinkers and stuff, I mean, when they're 30, they look 40, and when they're 40, they look 60, and when they're, you know what I mean. So you don't notice it when you're young, but then it hits you in the ass when you're older. So I don't. Another thing I don't have to worry about. My hair was fucking falling out. My hair's growing back again. It's awesome. Going on to six. Six is money. So again, I shouldn't have to explain too much about this, but um, I remember when I started drinking at 18 years old. What got me into the game was whiskey, and I like Jim Beam. A fifth of Jim Beam back then, when I was around 18, is probably around $15, about 14.99 or so. Now, shit's like $27 or something. Fuck all that. Drinking in the airport's expensive. Going to Miami, expensive. So then, you know, it's just expensive. And then it's not. And then it's the inadvertent cost too. The cost of driving to wherever the venue is. The cost of if you get too fucked up, then you gotta call an Uber. The cost of you already know if you drink at night and stuff, you gotta get some of that fucking greasy pizza. We gotta get some type of drunk food. Late 'cause we're hungry. Um, so all those costs, or how about this? You're a simp and you pay for the lady's drink. I've been in that situation. I'm calling myself a simp. It's okay. I don't have to worry about that anymore. You know, I say, bitch, you're about to have the same thing as me. Cranberry and vodka? No, just cranberry. Something wrong with you. And that's very awkward. That's another thing too, going on perspective. You get to see who's really by your side and who's not. There's a lot of people that tried to anyway, try to pressure me to drink because they were just so uncomfortable with me not drinking. Yeah, fuck off. And again, that goes into that whole construct, right? So the best advice is just don't go to places where people expect you to drink unless you're prepared for it. But not everybody looks at you like you're a freak, or Bill Cosby about to swoop in like a hawk and snatch the what. Some people respect it. I had some people tell me, man, that's crazy. Uh, wow, you know. But most people look at me like I'm about to drug them. Okay, all right. Going into seven. Now this one's really deep. It's dealing with life without alcohol. So I think specifically we're going to talk about emotions here, dealing with hate, anger, trust. I don't think trust is emotion, but it's something. Trust, anger, happiness, sorrow, joy, you know, companionship, uh, love, hate, all that. A lot of people don't know this, but or maybe you do, I don't know, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I mean, she was in the beginning of the video, so you know. But my mother's daughter, when she passed away, that was extremely hard on me. I stayed in that bed back there for about a week straight, staring at the ceiling with the lights off, going through our messages, texting her, knowing she's not going to text me back. It was extremely hard on me. But despite that being hard on me, and I'm still going through it, you know, it's not easy. I can tell you that the last thing in my mind was taking a drink, or any drug for that matter. Because the only thing I could think about was our daughter that we had together, Johanna. So I know if I drank in the midst of this, you know, I'm going through guilt, grief, sorrow, of course, and all these other things. If I throw alcohol in the middle of that, I'm going to create some type of Molotov cocktail that's going to be disastrous. And it could potentially lead, to some irrational thoughts, driving with my kid in the car and I'm drunk or something. Something stupid. Or not even that, you know. just a family member seeing that I'm fucked up and my kids is not hurt or anything, but they're seeing me fucked up, like that's enough for CPS to get involved, and I don't want them fucking involved. And then if that happens, that just made the situation so much worse. Like, not only did I lose Chelsea, and by the way, she was pregnant with our son, which we named July, and doing the math as I was sitting in that bed back there, come to find out he was conceived in July, which made it so much worse. But dealing with that, okay, could potentially cause me to lose the only thing I have left connecting me to her mother, and that's Johanna. And right now, that is what I live for. Um, she is a pain in the ass, but a good pain in the ass. And I love her. I love her to death. She's awesome, and you know, she helps me out a lot more than she thinks. It's life is kind of fucked up, right? Whenever times are looking low or living paycheck to paycheck, I just think about her and I think about Chelsea. I think about Chelsea watching me and pretty much entrusting me with our daughter because she believed in me and she had faith in me that if she were to leave this life, she knows that our daughter would be okay. And I'm not about to back down off of that shit. So, with that being said, um, as fucked up as it is, I'm glad that I'm dealing with these things sober, where in the past I didn't used to. I couldn't say the same thing with my cousin. I lost my cousin off heroin, and I got drunk. I got drunk, and then I stopped drinking for about 6 months after that, out of the blue. No AA, no rational recovery, no nothing. Out of pure will. And that was the first sign that, call it coincidence or call it God or faith or whatever you want to call it, that I knew that I had the power to stop drinking eventually if I really wanted to. But his death, when I found out, I got fucked up and I had a little punching bag outside. I brought it back inside and I wailed on it for about an hour and a half. The skin on my knuckles is gone and there's blood all over the place from punching the bag. The bag is in two now. And yeah, I wish I could handle that a lot better. My ex said something to me and pissed me off, and I got really fucked up. I hit the bag once again. But in dealing with these things sober, I'm learning a lot about myself. And that's another thing that goes into this. Like I now have the courage and the confidence needed to. I don't need a drink. I remember in college, it was a public speech class, um, and I got an A in that class. And I remember I had some freshmen ask me like, "Man, like how are you doing this?" Like I'd make the class laugh, I'd make them cry, whatever the topic is they threw at me. I mean, I sold that shit. And I remember telling one guy, I was like, I pulled out a shooter out of my backpack, and I was like, "This, take about two or three of these, you'd be all right." And I shouldn't have done that because I think he started doing it too. Um, but I don't have to hide behind the alcohol. It makes it easier, for sure. Especially if you're for something like that, like you're about to go on stage or do a public speaking event or something like that. But what I do now is I just take my glasses off because that way I can't see any of you. And that seems to work. So let's go to 8. Um, I briefly mentioned this, but I get to know I'm knowing myself better now, which I didn't used to be able to say that in the past. Um, so many times, maybe a fight or an argument, or maybe I was intimate with someone and I said I loved them or something like that, and I didn't know. Is that just me on some bullshit? Is that drunk Josh? Is that the drunk me? Just on some bullshit, just saying what they want to hear? Or is that the real me? You know, using drunk Josh as a catalyst. And I found out that it's both. So, for whatever I couldn't say, or I was too afraid or ashamed or whatever, I can now do that. If you're annoying me, I can tell you you're annoying me. If I have an argument, I can argue. Doesn't mean that I'm some type of mechanical bull and I just go in guns a blazing and just start a bunch of shit. Because now I'm smart enough to pick my fights and stand my ground. You know, and that's the beauty of it. Rational. If you talk to like a real like UFC fighter or any type of person that's heavily involved in martial arts, they'll tell you that remaining calm is key. Because all the guys that are just out there angry and throwing punches are not really thinking. But if you can be calm, then you can predict all their bullshit. And I think that's about it. Kind of recapping on this, I think the most impactful, is the perspective and philosophy change. Um, and that's to say, there's a lot of things I did when I was drinking actively. That was part of me. Example, this would be pool. Um, you know, so does that mean I have to give up pool? No. So a little tactic that I use is I ask myself, okay, like if I'm going out somewhere, if I if you take away the drinking, if you take away the alcohol of the establishment of the event, the concert, the party, whatever, how fun is it really? And if the answer is not at all, then I don't go. So I'll find a reason outside of that. If Bob's Bar, just so happens to have the best catfish in the South or something like that, I guess I'm gonna hit up Bob's Bar because I'm there for the catfish. I'm not there for his cheap ass liquor. But that's just some things that I do. Uh, you also see through, the other people that you used to hang out with, like, hold on, man, we're not gonna drink. Like, hey, man, we're cool, but what we gonna do? Just hang out? Like, we can play guitar. We can jump on the PlayStation. No, dude, it's kind of gay, dude. So you see through that shit now. So that's about all I got, and I appreciate you guys watching this. And depending on how this goes, if you want to know about a specific part of my life, or maybe me to elaborate more on, stories and when I first started drinking and how I got into it and all that stuff. And just let me know and I'll make another video. Uh, that's about it. Be safe. God bless. Or Buddha bless. And until next time, welcome to the channel.